are electrified. The streets are electrified. Your ears are electrified. My voice is electrified. Your heart is unsteady, they can make it beat in time. Your mind is confused, Lord, it will be clarified. If you're old-fashioned, you will be modernized. Everything is electrified, yes. Everything is electrified. If you're lost in the jungle, use the satellites. If you're broke in the city, sneak on the bus now. You lost your job, cause it was mechanized. They said we have to compete when our market's globalized. Everything is electrified. Everything is electrified. Everything is electrified. When my bare hands touch the base of your spine, I feel you shudder and close your eyes. Move like a swallow and I'm hypnotized. Everything is electrified. Everything is electrified. Everything is electrified. Yes. Some folks are heroes, others may be vilified. Assess your losses, learn to diversify. Find your higher calling and evangelize. Build your congregation, now you're televised. Everything is electrified. Everything is electrified. Everything is electrified. Everything is electrified. Thanks so much. That's Jordan Ellis playing percussion for you. Jordan and I are both Kentuckians, and I picked up this instrument, cello, in public schools back when I was 9 years old. And at the time it was proposed to me, it was a violinist who ran the orchestra, and she came to show all the kids the instrument. And when she demonstrated the cello, she didn't quite know how to play it. So the very first sound I heard on a cello was this. Class, this is what a cello sounds like. Mm-hmm. The second sound I heard on the cello was this. Oh, I'm sorry, class. This is what a cello sounds like. And so I was like, I'm in. I'm in. I'm going to play cello for the rest of my life. But I quickly learned that the cello was not just an instrument. It had this culture around it of classical music, which is a beautiful tradition. It just happened to have very little to do with me as a 9-year-old in Kentucky. So I would go to school, and I would diligently study all the classics, you know. But I also had this very musical family, and I brought it home to my dad, and he was an R&B guitar player, and he looked at it and he said, well, maybe we could play some R&B tunes on it. So I do that, and then I go back to school, you know. And then back to jamming with my dad. And so that kind of went on for a long time, and included my grandfather. His name was Elvis Henry Cornelius, which is a boss name. And he was a fiddler, and he felt like it was just a large fiddle. He called it a long-haired instrument, and he would teach me fiddle tunes. And then I'd go back to school, you know. This went on for years, this dual life. And it, until I started playing with bands, and those bands took me all over the world. And when you travel as a musician, you travel in this very superhuman way. I'm sure you all do it as well in your various vocations. But you spend a lot more time in between places than actually in them. And when you're actually in them, you've traveled so fast and so far that you don't catch up with yourself. So I found myself not remembering where I was or what I was even there to do. I'd just walk on, you want me? I'd just play. And I was like, this is not why I got into doing music for my life. And so I was looking for something, and I saw a commercial for a bicycle called an extra cycle, which is basically an extended frame bicycle. And I saw that, and I said, wow, yeah, I could fit my cello on that. And so we started doing touring by bicycle. And we try to do about a third of our touring each year by bicycle because it slows us down and makes us be in each place. Jordan puts his drum kit on a trailer behind him, and my cello goes on the side of the bike. And over the last 3 years, we've done over 3,600 miles of touring in that way. Thank you. And it's great because it slows us down. One time we were riding through Wilmington, Delaware, and the eastern part of that town is kind of beat up. Every third house is boarded in. And so you can't roll up your windows on your bicycle, so you just have to be there. And this little boy runs up next to me. He must be 7 or 8. And he says, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, we're doing a music tour. It's just by bicycle." And he says, "Oh, well, can I go?" And my bicycle has a loading platform that's basically like a skateboard. And so when I jokingly said, "Sure," he got on my bike. Now, I'd never been in this position on a van tour or by plane. And so I was like, what do I do? And I just asked him. I was like, well, how far do you want to go? And he thought for a second, and he said, far. And so I just kept riding with this little boy on the back of my bike until his parents and friends started figuring out what was going on and started yelling at him, "Martin!" Just screaming. And he's like, "Man, my mama's calling me. I got to go." But it was a wonderful reminder because it reminded me that you have to be present on the road. And it gave me the ability to be not looking at all the stuff I had to do or hadn't done. I was just there. And it was really amazing. That limitation, that beautiful limitation of the bicycle, you can only go as fast and as far as your body will allow, allowed me to just be there with him and look for those beautiful moments in between. And I've had a lot of those here at this event. I hope you all have too. I know you have. And we're going to try to create some more with this next song. Zach Dellinger is going to come back out and accompany us. And thank you so much for listening to the music. I saw God by the river, penning for gold. I saw God by the river, weary and old. He said, son, I used to know where I put things. I used to know. I saw God in the forest, teaching Tai Chi to the trees in the wind, and bowing to the sea. He said, son, I used to know where I put things. I used to know. I saw God on the mountain, tearing at the sky. I saw God on the mountain with tears in his eyes. He said, son, I used to know where I put things. I used to know, and I could have shown you all the beauty in the world, but now I need you to show me. To show me. Cynthia, everyone. Thank you so much, TEDx.